All right, so you have created your very first plan book. Now it's time to write a lesson plan. And I want you to think of Common Planner and the lesson planning interface as really being similar to a Google Doc. So it's interactive. You can enter anything in these text boxes right here. They save automatically. And then anything you write here is automatically shared with anybody who has access to your lesson plans. And so if your administrator gets in to check your lesson plans at the beginning of the week, um, they'll see your current plans, and if they check your lesson plans at the end of the week and they have changed because you needed to bump something forward or something didn't take as long as you thought or something took twice as long as you thought, they're going to be able to get in and see the most updated version possible. Um, you have a couple of different ways you can look at your plans. I'm in the week view. This tends to be what I prefer, but if you want to zoom in to the day view, you can totally do that. If you want to zoom out to the month view, that's an option as well. And if you prefer the unit timeline, just know that's here if you like it also. I'm going to come back to this week view. You can work with whatever you're most comfortable with. And we're just going to write a lesson plan on August 17th. So I have my ELA block right here. If we scroll down a little bit, I have my math block, and then I also have recess, and I don't write lesson plans for recess. That's why you don't see the district lesson planning template. But we're going to go ahead and just sketch out a math lesson, and I'm not an expert, so please don't totally base everything you do off of what I'm doing right here. But hopefully this will at least get you a good start. So we're writing a math lesson. We're going to say that I'm writing lesson 1-1. We're going to do a second grade lesson, addition fact strategies. I am going to identify first the standards that I'm teaching to. So I have two different kinds of standards, content standards and ELP standards. For my content standards, I'm going to click this little button that says search and add standards. And Common Curriculum, Common Planner has a huge database of lots and lots and lots of standards. I'll show you how to find the ones that we're tagging in our district. So we click search and add standards and then come to Oregon. And we're going to find the math standards 2021 to present. And then we're teaching second grade, so we're going to click grade 2. And we are looking for math practice 2. And so I'm just going to click that little plus sign next to Math Practice 2. That's going to turn to a check mark. As I start to tag standards, you're going to see a number update over here. This is going to keep track of all year how many times I've tagged that specific standard. So the next time I open this up, you'll see the number 1 right here. I also want to add 2OAB2. And so instead of like scrolling and looking for that code, I could type that code right up here. So 2OAB2. And you see it right here, fluently add and subtract within 20 and so on. I'm going to click the plus sign and it changes to a blue check mark. As soon as I've tagged all of the standards that I want, I'm going to say close and return to lesson. And you can see that both of my standards have been added right here. I'm going to do the same thing with ELP standards. So I'll click search and add standards. And you'll notice that it pulls up my math standards automatically. I don't want to lose these because I don't want to have to go back and find them every single time. So instead of just adding my ELP standards right here, I'm going to click this plus sign over on the right side and say side-by-side view. This gives me one pane for my math standards and one pane for my ELA standards. Again, I'm going to click states and select Oregon. And then I'm looking for the ELP standards 2013 to present. I'm looking in the 2-3 band, and I think for this one I want ELP standard 2, and I want standard 2. So I'm going to click the plus sign. Now you'll see all of these levels below our ELP standards. You don't have to tag individual levels. These are there for your reference. So these tell you within this standard what different levels of student proficiency should be able to do in your classroom. This is just for you as a reference. You don't actually have to tag these. So you're just going to tag the major standards in blue. I'll click the plus sign next to standard 2. It turns to a blue check mark and I'll say close and return to lesson. Now you see my ELP standard here. The really cool thing about this is from this point forward, when I'm tagging math standards, so I'm going to come to Tuesday, search and add, it pulls up my math and my ELP standards side by side. So I don't have to go through that process of finding the right standards again. It's already navigated there for me. It's really, really important though that when you do this, you pay close attention to which standards you're tagging. So for both sets of standards, you want Oregon, and then you want the current standards. So Oregon mathematics in your grade, or Oregon ELP standards in your grade. If you're doing ELA, choose ELA instead, that sort of thing. But please make sure you're tagging the Oregon standards. We'll go ahead and click close and return to lesson and move on to the next section of the lesson plan. So the next section is our objectives. You can attach a learning scale here. You don't have to, or a rubric if you have one associated. But again, it's like a Google Doc. I can click right here in the box and I can type. So we'll go ahead and add a content standard. I will be able to use an addition equation to help me solve a subtraction problem. If I don't want all of my text bolded, I can highlight it here and then I can change my font. And then I also need a language goal. And I am going to say that my language goal is that I will have students will be able to explain to a partner how a sum helps them find a difference using related facts. I need to add some vocabulary words. So we're going to put things in here like equation, sum, difference, addend, and related facts. Now, if I have, say, a slideshow that has all of my vocabulary words and some pictures to go with them, I could attach that here. So I just click the paper clip, follow the prompts, attach my slides here. You don't have to, that's just an option there if you would like it. If I need to ask somebody a question and I want to leave myself a note, I can say, ask Mrs. Smith for vocabulary cards. Now that comment's here and I have a reminder for myself that I need to come back to this. All right, moving on to the next section. This is lesson design in 3 moments. So moment 1 is preparing the learner, what I'm going to do to get my students ready to interact with the language and the content in this lesson. For moment 1 with my students in this lesson, my students will show a part whole mat with 12 as the whole and 7 as one part. I'm going to ask my students to find the missing addend and then discuss how the same model can show subtraction. One thing I want you to notice here, so again, I'm not an expert in the content, but this is not me saying page 17. This is me actually writing out what I'm going to do with my students. For moment 2, students will use fact family cards. One student will write a subtraction problem. The partner finds the related fact. Students practice saying this language. Again, this isn't a specific page number. This isn't certain numbers from the text, but it could be an activity that's outlined right within the curriculum itself. And then moment 3 is extending the learning. So in this instance, students will write their own story for a subtraction problem and show the addition equation they use to check their work. Again, this can be an activity, it should probably be an activity straight out of your core, but we're writing it all the way out. It doesn't have to be crazy detailed. This doesn't have to be pages and pages long, but we do want to give an explanation of what we're doing with the students and specifically call out those 3 moments, 1, 2, and 3. Now, my engagement strategy may already be outlined in my lesson design in 3 moments, but I am going to go ahead and call it out here. And it's a think, pair, share with justification. And I'll give a little bit more detail right here. And then same thing with formative assessment. It may be embedded in my moments. I may have already hashed it out. If that's the case, I can copy and paste it, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about exactly what it is that I'm looking for in my students to determine if they've mastered the content. So students will complete a quick exit ticket at the end of the lesson where they write one addition equation that helps them solve 14 minus 6 equals something. And that is my lesson plan. Like I said, this is similar to a live Google Doc. And so my administration team, my coaches, my teaching partners can all see my live lesson plan like this if I make changes to it later. they can come in and take a look and see the most updated version. I want to come back to the top of this lesson plan real quick and show you one more little feature, and that is this AI button. We can use AI in our district as a teaching assistant, as a way to enhance our teaching and our students' learning. We want to be careful with how we do that, and we want to make sure that our use of it is meaningful and purposeful and rooted in research-based practices. But there is an AI tool embedded right here in the platform, and the tool has been trained in a lot of our district resources. And so it understands when we ask for a scale what we're looking for, and it understands when we're talking 3 moments lesson planning pretty well what we're looking for in those 3 moments. So if you need help fleshing something out, if you're like, hey, I don't actually know what a moment 3 would look like in this lesson, ask it to suggest a moment 3, and then you decide as the teacher if you want to keep that or if you want to do something else. Always, 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 your coaches are there as a resource for you. And so if you have questions, please reach out to them. Please reach out to your teaching partners. But this is not a bad option also as a supplemental resource to you. In this instance, I'm just going to ask it to review my lesson plan book and suggest 3 things that I can do to improve my lesson. I'll click the blue arrow. And it's going to tell me exactly what it did. So it refined my learning goal and scale, it added some scaffolding for my academic language, and then enhanced my formative assessment. And you'll notice a green check mark, blue arrows, and a red X. The green check mark means accept the changes. All of the formatting is going to go away, so you're not going to be able to tell what is me, what is AI. The blue arrows mean revise. This really means I'm just chatting with the AI bot at this point, asking it to revise some of the things that it did already. And then X just means no, take it all away. It's going to delete all of the changes that the AI bot made. So I'll go ahead and scroll down right now because I haven't clicked the green check mark. Everything that the AI did is in blue. You can see my learning scale here, as well as the content that I had already that is crossed out. It also adjusted my vocabulary. At least it appears to have adjusted it. It looks like it just maybe added numbers because everything matches what I typed here already. And then it's updated my lesson plan and my formative assessment. So again, I get to decide if I want to accept it, if I want to reprompt, or if I want to say leave my lesson plan as is. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and discard those changes. It'll leave my lesson plan the way that it is. But again, just know that that option is there. Please don't use it unless you're planning to actually like preview what it says. And really think deeply about what it's asking you to do before you actually put some of those strategies in front of students. We want to give them the best education possible, and that means, again, thinking very critically about what AI suggests we do with them. With that, your first lesson has been written. If you have any questions about this process, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, to your building coach, to your teaching partners. We're happy to help you however you can. So best of luck as you continue to lesson plan.